Welcome to the channel, everyone. Kurtzy here with a Master League battle video. Got Tyranitar on the lead with Smackdown, Stone Edge, and Brutal Swing. Necrozma as kind of the safe swap. Shadowclaw, Sunset, Steel Strike, Sun, Steel Strike, Dark Pulse, and then Ho-Ho as the trusty closer. Starting off here against a Necrozma, this is totally fine if they want to go for Dark Pulse, which I believe that's all they built up to. So I'm going to let it go through. The Sun Steel Strike would, I think, one-shot because it's super effective against the rock type. Going to build up to Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is super effective against the psychic typing of the Necrozma. So I do get their first shield there. Going to go for another one here. Let's see if they want a double shield. I'm honestly not even sure exactly how much damage a Brutal Swing would inflict, but I know that it is super effective, so it probably do a fair chunk. They go for a Dark Pulse. They had farmed up for quite a bit, so I did shield it to respect the Sun Steel Strike. They threw again so quickly, I feel like it's just Dark Pulse, so I let it go. And they bring in a Kyurem. I'm going to go for the Stone Edge here. I'm expecting super effective damage because of the ice typing. And boom! I was not expecting a one-shot. So that works out well for me. Then they bring in a Veltal in the back. I'm going to bring in Ho-Ho here. Obviously, my Necrozma would take super effective from the dark typing of the Veltal, and the Shadowclaws do absolutely nothing. So I'm going to shield the first one there just simply to preserve some energy and now, or some health. Now I'm going to go for a Brave Bird. That does take out the Veltal, and so they've got their own Necrozma in the back. I switch right away here simply because I do not want to take a Dark Pulse while debuffed with my defense drop. They throw Dark Pulse. It doesn't quite take me out, so I'm able to reach Dark Pulse here and throw that, and that'll be a good game. Well played to my opponent there. That goes through. Did go 5-0 in this set with this team. Not sure how consistent it could be. I did see a lot of Rhyperiors, and Kyogres would be a little bit challenging for this, but managed to dance around all those in this particular 5-0 set. Go for a Brutal Swing there. I am going to let this first one go through, see if it's a Surf. Most of them are running Breaking Swipe. It is a Surf, so I decided to switch out. Yes, I know that the Mud Slap are super effective against the Steel typing of my Necrozma. However, I feel like it's the safer bet to bring in than my Ho-Oh, also knowing they have Surf and or Rock Blast. I'd have to pretty much shield everything or risk having them switch out and hard counter my Ho-Oh. So I do bring it in here. Gonna commit the shield. Feel like 1 or 2 Incinerates will be able to farm them down. Or if they switch, I'll at least, like they just did there, I'll at least have at least 1 turn of energy. So I'm gonna go for a Brave Bird here. They do shield it, unfortunately, but I'm able to make a nice catch onto my Tyranitar, and here I might be doing a bit of a risky play. I do shield the Shadowclaw, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want the Smackdown damage on that Dragonite, get it as low as I can, but I'm actually able to live long enough to reach a Brutal Swing. So that almost takes out the Dragonite. And here, unless they're running Hurricane, I'm quite safe. Obviously, I don't have a shield anyways, but just a Dragon Claw is not going to take me out. 1 more Incinerate, and that takes out the Dragonite. So here, I'm a little bit risky here. Obviously, I don't want a Brave Bird yet, because then I debuff my defense. So I'm going to go for the Sacred Fire. Kind of got a little bit lucky that it was Fairy in the back, quite honestly. I honestly thought for sure they would get to a move there before the Incinerate went through. But I do manage to hang on. And then I'm going to go for a Brave Bird here against... I don't know what happened there. I'm sure like the Sylveon went down to the Incinerate unless they tried to switch. And that's how they didn't get to a move, is that switch timer. Togekiss on the lead in the next one. I'm taking super effective from the charms due to the dark typing, but I'm also doing super effective with the smackdowns. So I'm wanting to stay in here. Again, kind of the same thing. Like, I grab a shield, I can let this go, and then I'll get 1 or 2 more smackdowns, and then a healthy farm on my Necrozma, opposed to switching and locking myself in case they bring in a hard answer, right? But this way I get a full farm down, and I leave with a move. They're down a shield. So now they bring in a Veltal. I stay in long enough to throw the Sudden Steel Strike, and then I'm going to pivot into my Ho-Oh. That does a huge amount of damage. I figured they would let it go. And then they have a Palkia in the back, so things are really not looking good for me. However, staying in the lead allowed me that I'm not stuck. Like I am stuck now, but I have 2 shields, and I wasn't stuck earlier. Had I switched out earlier and then they had countered me, this game would have played out completely different. So I got quite a bit of energy. I go for the Sacred Fire at first, trying to grab that shield. They don't buy it, so they go for an Aqua Tail, and I'm at a Brave Bird here, and then I'm 1 Incinerate, I think, away from another Brave Bird, but my switch timer is coming up. So I want to throw the Brave Bird, that gets the shield. I do 1 more Incinerate, and then I switch, forcing them to switch. And now they have Yveltal, which is actually kind of perfect. This is a win con here. They throw, which is going to take out my Necrozma, but they still have a little bit of health, which allows me 1 Incinerate, which gets me to the Brave Bird. Because otherwise I would have had to go 1 more Incinerate onto the Palkia. But that allowed me to come in with a Brave Bird loaded and take them out. So that was a very tricky match there. Well played to my opponent. I'm sure a little bit of luck was on my side with that. So here, the bullet punches are super effective against my Tyranitar. Meteor Mash would also do super effective damage along with Earthquake. So I'm kind of basically exactly what I just tried to do. That was my goal. I was like, I'm going to build up to a Brutal Swing, throw, try to get a shield, and then I'm going to dip out, catch some Meteor Mash on my Necrozma. And then in the back, they've got a Swampert. Swampert's going to beat my whole team. And then nothing I can do about it, right? Swampert, the Mud Shots, Hydro Cannon, Earthquake, whatever they might be running, going to demolish my entire team. So I need to be smart about this. The Shadow Claws are adding up a lot more than a Smackdown would. So I do want to shield, and they had let a Dark Pulse go through. So here I shield the first Hydro Cannon. I'm going to let this next one go through, and I actually live it and get to a Dark Pulse. So this will take their last shield or take them out. Knowing that I have Tyranitar in the lead, I feel like they're probably fairly confident that they are able to let it go, and then they'll be good to beat whatever I've got, right? They know that their Metagross is going to beat Tyranitar. What they didn't know is that I have a Ho-Oh in the back. So they switch out into Togekiss, and Togekiss, again, like I said, is doing super effective against the Dark type. However, I was able to do a lot of Smackdown damage. I can shield up this Ancient Power, and then farm them down. And I'm over energy here. I'm not collecting any more energy here, which is a little unfortunate. But if I do a Sacred Fire right off the hop, this will get their shield, possibly drop their attack. Does it drop their attack? No, it doesn't. But no matter what they throw here, I'm not going to get taken out. So then I will be able to either farm them down or get to another move. And I do reach Sacred Fire. If I were to replay this match exactly the same, I would actually attempt to throw the Brutal Swing onto the Togekiss instead of getting completely farmed down, because that likely would have gotten the shield. Either way, it worked out in the end in my favor. Dialga on the lead. They switched right away, which actually helped me because I was able to answer then with Necrozma. And this, I feel, is a positive lead or a positive match for Necrozma, because the waterfall damage, it's chunking, but it's not like crazy damage. I can safely shield one here, and I believe they actually didn't shield my Dark Pulse either. Yeah, so I can overfarm it by a bit here, and then I decide to, no, I do, actually I go for a full farm down. I thought that I threw there just before, but I go for a full farm down, so I have 2 Dark Pulses loaded for the Dialga here. And again, this is kind of an interesting one where they know that I've got the Tyranitar in the lead. I'm losing my Necrozma, but it seemed to work out kind of in my favor, where they're like, oh yeah, we know that there's the Tyranitar, but then they're not expecting a Ho-Oh. And once you go shields down against a Ho-Oh, there's really like it, and I mean, unless it's a pure water or something, it's definitely definitely a bit of a challenge, I should say, to like really really beat. And they've got a Palkia. Believe they caught the Brave Bird. Kind of got a little bit distracted there. Aqua Tail comes through, doesn't quite take me out. And again there, maybe I throw, but I risked it and managed to farm them down. Now I have a Brutal Swing loaded for the Dialga here. And that does a little bit of chip damage. They take me out again. I 1000% expected them to have enough energy to reach a Roar of Time, and that's why I chose to switch. I was going for the Sacred Fire. I switched to go for a Brave Bird, and they gave up. So I'm a little puzzled by that. I feel like they probably would have reached a Roar of Time. However, worked out. I did go 5-0, so that was good. If you're still watching, leave a like or a comment, subscribe. Definitely appreciate you guys tuning into these videos. I do have a couple more to make. I just got to find the time to make them and then record the video on it. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.